My name is Alexander Manasseh. I'm a practicing engineer. Also used to be a CEO for a nonprofit for education here in the Baltimore region. And I've got some advice for how you can go from homeschool to engineer. Now, people will think that you have to go through a straight line, traditional school, 4-year college, then boom, then you can become an engineer, right? Well, there's a couple of different paths there. All right, that's one path. Nothing wrong with that path. But there's a few others, especially if you're going to become a software engineer, or in my case, an embedded firmware engineer. The alternative education routes are pretty much as unique as you are. All the employers care about at the end of the day is, can you do the job, right? But let's not worry about that too much right now. Let's worry about how we're going to go through homeschool and get on the path to becoming an engineer, right? So, to go from a homeschooler to an engineer, you're going to need the following 3 things, right? So, you're going to have rigor. As a homeschool parent and as a homeschool student, you are already going to be looked upon with more scrutiny than a traditional peer because you're an unknown quantity. Now that might seem like a bad thing, but you can actually make that really awesome for you, because then your education be as unique as you are, but you have to have rigor. Now what does rigor mean? Rigor means that you're doing the math. Rigor means that you're calling the shots before you build. What that means is, if you're going to build, say, a project like a rubber band car, you have to put some math into it first. There has to be a lesson. It's got to tie into a traditional education. It's not enough to just make things out of popsicle sticks, right? Now, next thing you have is you have to have fun. The things need to have fun, be fun, right? What that means is that if you are enthusiastic about the things you are learning, not only are you going to get more out of it, you're also going to shine through with your enthusiasm of what you learned. If you are enjoying yourself, you are so much more attractive to job offers, you're more attractive to recruiters. People are going to just want to be around you and hear what you have to do. Selling what you're doing is so much easier when you love the product, and that product is that homeschool education of yours, right? Next thing, nurturing independence. So, independence is the one thing that can set you apart from someone who has gone through cram school. What I mean by cram school is people who study for 12 hours a day, every day, for 12 years, and come out of the education system. They've got the 4.0 GPA, they've got all the credentials, they will always win except at independence. Because if you are traditionally schooled, you're always asking, teacher, what do I learn next? If you are a homeschool student who is pushing through your education, you're always asking, what do I want to learn next? What is important to learn next, right? I'm going to bring you through a few different examples that are going to have all 3 of these, but be completely accessible by an elementary, middle, high school student, right? We're going to start with the first one. The rubber band car, right? Now we've seen those before, you can Google them. I've got a few down in the description there, a few links, and with even some piece-by-piece builds. But how are we going to have that have rigor? Now that is fun. Rubber band cars are pretty fun. I've watched them and they can really go. And they do nurture some independence because you get to just choose the design, make them yourself. Now here's the rigor, right? Now if you're building a rubber band car, pretty much what you're doing is you are storing the energy in a rubber band, winding it up by K's constant, the Hooke's law, right there. The energy that you're putting into it is 1/2 the Hooke's constant K times the displacement squared, right? I'm not going to get too math on you, but you see there's some rigor to be had in there. That amount of work is going to go into moving that car. So you're going to be able to make a relationship between that displacement you've created with how far the car goes. You know, proportional to the displacement of that spring, that rubber band, squared. And you get to write a whole report on what, how accurate was it, what relationship did it have, or how much you wound up the rubber band, how far the car went, all that stuff. You can make a lab report on that, say, what went wrong. Rubber bands are not a perfect spring, so the K's constant is not necessarily linear. You're going to have some error there. There's some human error because of measuring that displacement you've made. there's going to be really something there. I'm going to have a video pretty soon about how do you do rubber band car with Rigor. Now that brings me on to the next one, the Ballistic Pendulum. The Ballistic Pendulum is actually used for measuring the speed and, well, the energy of projectiles flying through the air. There's no reason you can't have like one of those wooden cars come down a ramp, hit the pendulum. Pretty much what the pendulum is, think of it like a hammer that's being hung on a string. When something hits that hammer, the hammer is going to bounce back. The amount that it goes back by, mgh, mass times the gravitational constant times the height, that's the energy, potential energy that's now going to go into that. You just measure the height of the pendulum and you get the energy put into it by the projectile, in that case the wooden car. Alright? That's a lab report. It's pretty easy and it's fun to make, and you also get to smack things into your pendulum. So, next, speaking of pendulums, your next standard thing for physics is waves, right? Now, one of my favorite demonstrations of waves and frequency, harmonics, and beat is the harmonic pendulum, which I'll be linking down below and playing a little bit over here. The harmonic pendulum consists of several pendulums put all in a line and then triggered all at once. And because they have different string lengths, different lengths on each of these pendulums, they're going to have different frequencies, and you're going to start to see them come out of sync. And as they come out of sync, they go back into sync, but you're going to see a stunning relationship between the frequency, the beat, and the lowest common denominator of those frequencies is when they all finally match up together in this beautiful dance of the harmonic pendulum. Now, next one is natural frequency. This one's a lot easier and more fun to do. I'll have a video on all of these, by the way, or I'll link to a video. No reason to show you how to build something that someone else has already shown you how to build. But natural frequency is anytime you smack something, give it a good whack. If it rings out, or if it bobs back and forth, or it springs up and down, that's the natural frequency. Everything has a natural frequency at which it resonates. And you can play a lot of games with that. When you're on the swing set and you kick your legs out, you kick them out with your natural frequency. So you go up and down faster and faster and farther and farther. That's you using your natural frequency. You can do the exact same thing if you use an inverted spring, you put it into the ground in your lawn, you put a mass on the top of it, and you just shoot at it with your hose. And you on, watch the natural frequency. Okay, tick, 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 tick. And you end up seeing the natural frequency resonate with how much you shoot with water, or you can throw balls at it, whatever you want to do. And you can find out, what is the relationship between those different types of natural frequencies. Some of them are springs constant based, some of them are pendulum based. And you can play all different games about finding the natural frequency of things and finding out why it has that. I'll have another video on that soon. Now, electricity is very, very fun for young people because it's instant gratification. And kids love instant. I'm not going to throw kids under the bus. I love instant gratification. When I was first getting exposed to engineering, it was in the basement of the Smithsonian American History Museum, where they have a little lab where you can put circuits together. And they were just very simple. Light bulb, 9-volt battery. Okay, hook them together. Oh, the little lantern light turns on. Alright, let's do 2 light bulbs together. So, 9-volt, light bulb, light bulb. Oh, they both turn on, but they're not quite as bright. Wait, what if I put 2 9-volts together now? Oh, okay, now the light bulb is twice as bright or something like that, right? There's a relationship between the power dissipated and the actual spectral intensity that comes out that's a little bit beyond me off the top of my head right now. But you can observe all those different things. That is a gateway into resistance. That is a gateway into capacitance, if you have capacitors and hook them together. I'm going to have a video. The poll on the Facebook said that the next video that I'm going to do is going to be basic electricity. So I'm going to be up here on the whiteboard and I'm going to show you some breadboards and show you how to do basic electrical at your home. Now, if your student is high school aged, the 555 circuit, that is a famous circuit. I believe it originated in the 70s. Really, really old circuit, but very, very simple, but very, very cool, right? And there's tons of resources on how to use this circuit. Pretty much what it does is it uses that natural frequency, that resonance frequency I was talking about before, but this time it's electrical. It has a resistor and a capacitor, right? And the way that it works is that you charge this little capacitor up. The circuit says, oh, you've hit a certain level, I'm going to have you discharge now, okay? Discharge the capacitor, hits another lower level, chip says, okay, I'm going to charge you back up. You're just constantly dumping water out, bringing water back in. And that's a 555 circuit. If you can wire together a 555 circuit on a breadboard, then not only are you doing great for a high schooler, you're actually doing pretty great for a college freshman, because those are the exact circuits that I would put together in my digital circuits labs. All in all, there are a ton of options. Now, all of those things, I don't think most high schoolers ever build any of those, right? They'll see a class demonstration, but they'll never lead it. You have a wealth of resources in front of you in the internet. You can build every single thing I've just mentioned off of an internet search and a look at WikiHow. Now, it's scary to go through and do all these different things, and it's hard to curate all of these resources. That's where I come in. So, follow my videos, watch these videos, like and subscribe. I'm going to try and post these every week, do my best, but my job here is to give you, the homeschool teacher, the resources you need to get an education that is not only at the level for high school, math, science, engineering, and technology, it is going to get you ready for college and honestly get you ready for that career you want, and make sure that that career is fun. Make sure that your education has rigor so that you can get that job, but also be independent, because this is how you are competitive on the global scene. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you luck, and I look forward to hearing back from you all. All right, thank you.